Okay. So yeah, I'm glad to be here and to be after Scott because I really like his work trying to for the nice introduction for D3 because there is a book, but there is also thanks. There is also a series of tutorials on his own blogs. So I want to start from there. And try to give you a list of things you can find on the web to help you get started, to help you share your stuff. To get help. So this is maybe just a bunch of links, and I will share this maybe tomorrow on all the usual channels. If you don't know the channels, we will learn them right now. So first, there is the D3 website. I'm sure you all know it. It's probably the first landing page you see when you are looking for D3. There is also the paper. I'm from like an academic maybe background, so I like to see where my tools come from. So what you can learn when you read the paper is that it's mainly binding data to graphics. So that's exactly what Scott was telling us. When you study information visualization, that's what you learn. You have data, and what you want is to give shape to your data. So what you want is to try to find the right attributes to map to your data. Is it like a position, scale, like color scales and stuff like this? If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a great book about it. So the Grammar of Graphics from Wilkinson is my information visualization Bible. If you know ggplot2, it's kind of an implementation of the Grammar of Graphics, and you can see D3 as another implementation of this. I think this book is very influential in the information visualization circles. So as you learned, the prerequisite, I think it's maybe pretty high. When you learn D3, you need to master these things. Sometimes on the Google groups, we receive some questions, but that are really JavaScript questions and dumb questions. We are always glad to have them, because sometimes the boundaries between like what is D3 and what is JavaScript is pretty thin, because D3 is just a very thin layer on top of all this. So there is all these great tools and not so great also, because if you are into JavaScript, that's not always fun. The DOM neither. So D3 makes it fun. I tend to see D3 as I saw jQuery back in the days. So JavaScript was just a language that you didn't want to use, and jQuery make it easier. We'll see that it's a totally different thing with D3. But one prerequisite that I would add is the visualization. And I'm not connected, so but I think I can. Yeah, it was already downloaded. I'm so clever. So you can find a lot of different lists about information visualization. I like this one, and by the way, all the things in my presentations are just like the first thing I can think of. So I think it's a pretty opinionated list. But here is like a couple of books that you have to read if you are into information visualization, like Burton and Tofty and Colin Ware, and a couple more. So let's go back by going forward, because I don't know how. Oh, yes. OK, so I think it's important to know what D3 is not. So D3 is clearly not like jQuery and Raphael. Both are more kind of shim. They try to be compliant with the tools that doesn't want to play with the web. That's nearly a thing of the past. So you can see on Can I Use, that's a website that try to reference like where you can use each type of technologies. So, for example, Raphael is trying to to abstract a graphic layer so it can work as well on SVG and on old stuff. But that's not what D3 is all about. It's not neither a graphic library. Like you don't ask for a pie chart. You can ask for a pie chart layout, and then you have to build it yourself, and that's the beauty of D3. But you have some graphics library, as Scott told us. There is, I think, one of the most important is NVD3. That's a one-guy project, and maybe a couple of people around, but maybe I can shift that back. Oh, yes. There is also Xchart, Dance.js, and Rickshaw. So they are all very different tools based on D3. So when you just want a pie chart, just grab one of these. I think it's a good idea to do this, because then you can go in the source code and you can learn D3, because you can learn a real implementation of D3. But so D3 for me is a bunch of reusable components and helper functions to try just to map from data space to pixel space. So that's the only thing. When you look at D3 source code, if you remove the reusable components and all the helpers, that's maybe like 50 lines of code. Like the data binding, the data join part is really the core of D3. Oh, hey. This animation is made with D3, by the way. That's Stack.js with like a custom buy now something. So yeah, so to buy now.js. So then when you want to learn D3, if you are into books, yeah, there is the Scott Murray. It's on top not because it's the best. It's on top. It's on top because probably you want to start from this before the DWARDS one. The DWARDS is a little more advanced, but not so much. Like you need to start with some JavaScript skills and some CSS skills, but it's a very good book too, from O'Reilly too. If you are more into videos, we also have, haha, that's from Ian. So a whole series of video tutorials. So that's great because you can see someone coding from scratch with a live coding editor with background music. If you are into other things, there is also an others kind of tutorial. So this one is, there is a list of tutorials in the wiki. So it can be slides, it can be a video of a talks. It can be also blog posts. I like blog posts because that's more like explaining the whole process. I think, well, of course, all my blog stuff works. I don't even know why I put it here because it's obvious. But Jim Vallandigham and a lot of people like this are doing a really great job of having a whole blog about how to get started and also how to do advanced stuff with D3. I think there is a lot of tutorials to get started. So this meetup is, once again, to get started. But I think we need more tutorials with a very advanced thing. The tough part with this is probably advanced stuff can be like geographic stuff, network stuff, custom stuff. So that's a bit hard to focus on things. But D3 is very young, so I think we will come up with more advanced tutorials soon. The best way to learn for me is by looking at the source code, because I'm a geek, but probably a lot of people are like me here, and looking at the API. So D3 is very well documented. If you find something that is not easily understandable, just add it, because it's a wiki. So the wiki is on GitHub. You can all share and participate. There is a gallery that is on the wiki. And tonight I want to launch an alternative gallery that I implemented with the help of the community. So that's mainly kind of a clone of what's on the wiki, but I added a lot of stuff. And also, it's because, like, why just duplicating the wiki? It's because I wanted to filter. Like, you just want all the stuff by one author. You just want, for example, I want a pie chart. On a wiki, that's not easy, but that's more easy here. So I'm not connected, so I will not click on stuff. But so right now there are maybe more than 1,500 entries. So it's just to give an idea of the magnitude of the popularity of D3. I don't know of any other graphic library or like information visualization library where you can have a gallery with more than 1,000 entries in it. So I will need help because I have to do like the screenshot stuff and the entry of the authors, because I think it's very important to give the credits. But yeah, so that's a work in progress that I'm launching today.
How do you implement it?
It's implemented in D3, of course. So the source code is available and it's pretty simple. The gallery is all on a Google spreadsheet. So what I think someone had a very good idea is to grab Mechanical Turk for entering stuff in it, like screenshots and filling out values. So I think with some crowdsourcing, we can have a very great filterable gallery. So on this gallery, you can find a lot of examples. You can find the tutorials. You can find the talks. So it's just a matter of filtering by tags, by authors, and things like this. So how to contribute? So you made some interesting stuff you want to share. Here is a link to the alternative gallery spreadsheet I just showed you. But to share code, the community works a lot with a code snippet manager, mainly on Gist. Blocks is only kind of it's another tool by Max Bostock. And when you click on it, but I will not because I'm not connected, you have the code that is running in an iframe, and you have the code that you can see also. And this is just a viewer for a Gist. A Gist is just a code snippet manager for sharing snippets of code, and it's part of GitHub. So I don't know if all this is confusing for you, but you will just have to click everywhere on my slides, and it will all come more obvious. Tributary also is another way to share. So the difference is you have live coding in it. This is a screenshot of it. I think I have it open too. Another tool by Jan and a couple of guys from the community. What I really like about this tool is the way that you can just grab any numbers and have a slider to change things. So when you change something, you have live coding. There is a world trend of live coding right now. So another tool that I like to share code and to work is a Plonker. Plonker is a bit like a tributary, but maybe more basic, but with an interesting feature where you can collaborate. So like multiple people can work on the same code. So you have live preview, and you have also collaborative work. You can work directly on the D3 source code. You can file bug reports. There is no bug in D3. So when you file bug reports, it's because, no, sometimes there are some bugs. But you have to look carefully. What I would do is, before filing a bug report, I would go on the Google groups to see if it's really a bug. Because sometimes it's a version mismatch and stuff like this. But so, yeah, you can submit bulk reports. Pull request is the way to share the modification you made to the D3 core. So that's all on GitHub. And I like the way that you can also submit plugins, because I think one of the ways that D3 will expand, it will not be on the core. And in fact, the core is shrinking. For example, the geo stuff is a plugin now. So here you can see like a chain of faces, a bullet graph, box plots, horizon charts. Yeah, so there are some parallel coordinates. So this is like another layer on top of D3. So you have D3 as the low-level component. Then you have its axis and low-level components like this. And then you can build your own and share. And someone else can take this to build a dashboard. And then someone else can take this dashboard to build a whole application with backbones and a backend and all this. So I think it's in these multiple layers that D3 can be very powerful. That's my favorite slide. I always like this little guy, that's so, and a 3D pie chart too. I'm a PhD, I'm a designer. Yeah, so how to get help? I think the most obvious place is the Google group. I think when you post something on the Google groups, it goes very fast before you have an answer. There is the Stack Overflow. I'm not too much on it, so I don't know, but I see a lot of Mike Bostock on it too. So I think these are two really well-known and very efficient channels. So feel free to flood the Google groups with questions. That's exactly what it's for. Maybe you don't know, but there is an IRC channel. So when you want to more chat with people or just hang out and talk D3, that's also a place to go. And oh, look at that. Yeah, so what I do is I'm trying to tweet a lot only about some D3 stuff I see. I try to tweet at least like 5 to 10 new items about D3 each day. So I think the community is big, so we have like to share as much as we can. So this community is the best I found, so let's hope we will all contribute. Thanks. Questions?
What was the website where all of these are?
Yeah, what I will do is I will post this on the wiki, on the wiki on the GitHub wiki, so the official wiki. I will also post this on the Google groups and on D3 visualization.
For good measure on the meetup page too, right?
Oh, on the meetup page too, of course.
Sweet. Well, thanks, Chris.
Thanks.